Next up are Indian weddings. Since India is such a vast country and has so many different wedding traditions, the focus will be only on North Indian Hindu weddings. Love or arranged? The first question posed mostly by nosy neighbors and relatives to any Indian couple announcing their weddings is this: is it love or arranged? In India, marriage is not just between two individuals, but the coming together of two families. Arranged marriages, in which the parents search for an appropriate bride or groom, are mostly still the norm. But love marriages are becoming increasingly common in urban India. Up until a few years ago, it was not uncommon to see one's partner only on the wedding day. Nevertheless, youngsters in urban areas are having more say in choosing their life partners. Intercaste and interreligious marriages are also becoming increasingly common. The search for a bride or groom back then used to take place by word of mouth or through the family priest. If the horoscopes between the two individuals matched, the marriage was fixed between the two. Today, with the internet being accessed by many, matrimonial websites and ads are becoming the go-to place for searching life partners. It's a bit like Elite Partner or Parship, only that you don't date but get married. We'll come back to this later. Now to the wedding traditions followed in North India. It all starts with the engagement ceremony that is held a few months prior to the wedding, where the date and time of the wedding is fixed. Close friends and family assemble to celebrate the occasion. The bridal pair exchanges engagement rings. Following the engagement, there is a gap of a few months for the wedding preparations to take place. This is when the couple gets the chance to get to know each other, in today's times that is, and the two families get to bond as well. A week before the wedding, the pre-wedding ceremonies start. First you have the haldi, in which turmeric and oil is applied to the bride and groom. Next up is the mehendi, where henna is applied to the bride's hands and feet. The sangeet follows next. It's a small or even large party for all the wedding guests to introduce the bride and the groom to extended family and friends. Finally, after all the preparations, the big day is here. A typical Indian wedding can last up to 3 hours. The groom arrives to the location on a horse or even on an elephant, with relatives and friends dancing all the way to the venue, accompanied by an orchestra or loud drums or music. Nowadays, however, this is getting less popular, as many prefer to rather arrive in luxury cars or limousines. The bride awaits him at the marriage hall and the couple exchanges garlands. Next comes the giving away of the bride to the groom by her father. The bride and groom are considered married when the groom ties the thali, a holy thread, around the bride's neck. This thread is tied in front of a sacred fire that is lit during the ceremony. This is to symbolize that the bridal pair gets married with fire as witness to their marriage. A Hindu marriage is only fully valid if the bridal pair circles this holy fire 7 times. These are called the Sat Feri. It is to signify the religious and moral duties they both have towards each other. The ceremony ends when the groom applies vermilion, a red powder, on her forehead and also puts toe rings on her feet. In today's time, a wedding party or reception follows the wedding, where everyone from office colleagues to neighbors and distant relatives are invited as well. The reception involves clicking photos with the guests, giving gifts, and also a lot of tasty food, dancing, singing, and partying. Indian weddings usually consist of at least 200 guests, and there is no upper limit. The more extravagant the wedding, the more wedding guests are invited. Wedding attire. The bride typically wears a red sari or a red lehenga, a long skirt with intricate patterns with a blouse, and she's also covered in jewelry from head to toe. The groom wears a traditional sherwani or a dhoti, a white cloth draped around his waist. Food that is served directly after the wedding is traditional and in most cases vegetarian. However, with changing times, the wedding food has become extravagant than ever, with people including all kinds of cuisines into their menu. North Indian, South Indian, European and Chinese dishes, you name it. In short, the more exotic the dishes sound, the better. Also, drinking alcohol after the wedding, which used to be a taboo in olden times, is becoming a common occurrence these days. I'm getting hungry here, so let's quickly move on to the location. Traditionally, an Indian wedding usually takes place in a temple, at the bride's home, or in a wedding hall. Yet, more and more couples today are opting for various wedding locations like beach weddings, royal palaces, or even destination weddings. The tradition of giving dowry to the groom by the bride's family is something that has been very predominant in Indian culture for centuries. Typically, the dowry includes anything from cash, gold, silver, to houses, apartments, luxury cars, and whatnot. Although giving dowry is a criminal offense in India since 1961, the practice has obviously persisted. In fact, the dowry demanded by the groom is based on his educational qualifications. A government official can demand anything between 200 to 700,000 euros. Unfortunately, dowry crimes are not rare in India, as many women are abused mentally or physically for giving less dowry than what was demanded. Ideal bride. The criteria for an ideal Indian bride consists typically of three elements. She should be fair and slim, domesticated, and optimally educated. Back in the days, it was expected of the bride to be a housewife and please her husband with her domestic capabilities. For many, working women are still a strict no-go. Unfortunately, this regressive attitude still exists in many areas in India. Nevertheless, also in this domain, people's views and attitudes are changing. In urban areas, married women are no longer an oddity. Youngsters get to take life into their own hands. Beautiful is no longer just fair skin. Both husband and wife have an equal say in decisions concerning their lives together. Ideal groom. As for his appearance, he should be taller than his future wife and not older than her by 4 to 5 years. Ideally, he should be the breadwinner of the family. He should also earn more than his wife and be more educated than her. A big plus is also if the groom lives abroad, as this guarantees a more comfortable life for the couple. Even here, attitudes are slowly changing, as just mentioned. Other modern and new elements include a professional pre- and post-wedding photo shoot, candid photography, bachelor or bachelorette parties, the first dance, and exotic wedding and honeymoon destinations. Finally, the motto for any Indian wedding is this: the more extravagant, the better. If you have the money, why not show it? There is a lot of pomp and show, mostly designed for outsiders to praise and admire. Yet, Indian weddings with its many traditions and customs are one of the most entertaining and fun to partake in. You should try and make it to one yourself, and since so many people are invited anyways, I'm sure it won't be even that hard to gate crash. Just give it a try, it'll be totally worth it.